My friend Gretchen died 4 years ago today. I stopped for a moment this afternoon to honor her life by updating my Facebook status with the Ralph Waldo Emerson quote that I read at her memorial service. It's cheesy, I know, but that's what you do these days. Besides, my Facebook family knew me then, so they knew what she meant to me. It's a feeling of belonging. And the quote is as if it were written about her in every way. It's every point having been one of her great passions in life. The quote always brings me peace when I think of it, or of her. I put my phone away and I walked back towards the office building where I work, allowing myself to extend the moment of silence with just a brief internal conversation with her across the parking lot. I told her I missed her and I loved her. I asked her to show her presence in my life today if she could. It was a beautiful day, so I scanned the blue sky and the puffy clouds, and half in appreciation for nature, half expecting to see the clouds drift into a mystical formation of her face. Instead, I heard her voice, as if a memory in my mind. She said, "I'm always here, Craigie." She called me Craigie. You can't. I silently kind of gave her an I know, and she continued in my mind saying, "You're doing just fine, Craigie, you're doing just fine." And I replied with a visible smile, but on the inside, my brain did something strange, and I heard my own telepathic reply. I said, "As good as can be expected, anyway." It was a doubtful message of discouragement, but it was in her voice, and it was with my consciousness as the speaker. And I was manufacturing her memory. And I caught myself thinking that she would never say something like that. And that's when, my mind intervened, and the inner voice or something said clearly to me in her voice that was your voice, not mine, Craig. And it was directed at me. And I paused and I repeated it under my breath a few times and committed to writing it down because it was just so powerful. But why? And where did it come from? Do I believe I'm really hearing voices? Not really. I mean, I'm very aware that the memories that, we recall have voices, and we can replay them aloud in our head. And it doesn't reflect paranormal activity to be able to mentally hear the voice of someone who's passed away, whether you choose to call it psychology or psychic phenomenon or psychosis. It's up to you. The truth is, my mind, for the first time, accurately discerned which voice was being driven by an internal memory and which was being manufactured. I was making up something about myself, and it wasn't kind, and it wasn't Gretchen. At that moment, I learned the sound of my own voice, the sound of my own inner monologue, my own inner defeatist. And just for a moment, she was back as a distinct, clear memory. And all at once, I smelled her citrus lotions, and I tasted fresh strawberries from the farmer's market, and I felt her press against me and give me a warm, loving embrace. But most of all, I knew that I'd experienced an authentic memory, a memory so real that it made me question my own sanity, wipe away tears, and turn around to see if she was standing behind me. It was a kind day. People who do not know me were nice. My own inner voice was clear. And Gretchen was a beautiful, vibrant, wise soul once again. She was indeed back with me again today. Even if you want to call it a memory, I felt her presence. And later I found myself looking in the mirror at the tattoo on my left arm. There her eyes are drawn perfectly, and they stare over a tempest of playing cards and the symbols that represent her life. And at its center, the Queen of Hearts. And I stared into her eyes, and I heard her laugh. And I smiled, and I said, out loud, "That was your voice, not mine."